Networking online is not just about sending messages and then waiting for responses. It's a skill, like it's a strategy and a game changer in your professional journey. Hello everyone, welcome back to Oma's Academy. My name is Choma Ebo and I'm here to share my experiences, my proven frameworks, and the mistakes that I've seen early career professionals make when trying to build connections. One thing I always do before reaching out to my connections is to proofread my emails by ensuring that there are no typos, there are no weird tones, and there are no awkward requests. I ensure my pitch is solid, my ask is clear, and I come across as professional yet approachable. In today's world, we meet fewer people face to face, and that's thanks to social media, of course. But then, the people you connect with online, sometimes you find out that the name in their inbox is not the same name they're using in real life when you meet them physically. That's why respecting someone's time is critical when networking online. And I'll start by naming some mistakes that I've observed some young professionals and newbies make while networking online. If you are reaching out to someone you barely know online, don't just hit them up with a long convoluted email, because nobody wants to read a long essay from a stranger. And please don't just make assumptions about their availability. Just like when someone mails you saying something like, hey, hey, I would love to take you out for breakfast on Tuesday by 9 a.m. Like, imagine how that sounds. And trust me, you'll be thinking something like, who is this person and why should I go out of my way to meet you? Or while you continue reading the email further, you see something like, I would love to get insights from you about getting a job. No, that's absolutely wrong. That is not networking. That is purely demanding. And one thing is that people often mistake confidence for entitlement. There is a fine line between them, and if you're early in your career, learning this nuance is going to take you far. How do we get that right? First and foremost, you should consider the fact that people are not always going to say yes to you. Just be humble, and at the same time be open to rejections. Yes, because sometimes you're gonna get a no as a response. Secondly, whatever you're asking for should be small and specific. And lastly, always keep in mind, or you can as well as assume, that people are always busy. So whenever you're sending them any message, make sure that it's clear, direct, and valuable to them. And I'm gonna give you a winning example of how you can reach out to your connections. Let's say you're a new virtual assistant trying to land your first ever virtual assistant job, and instead of being vague, you can actually reach out to them like this. All right, everyone. So this is a sample email that I wrote to my connect, who is Michael. This is just a sample email. Like, this is just a draft, so I'm not actually sending it to them. And actually, this Michael is just a non-existent connect, so I just picked a random name since it's just a sample. I left my headline empty, so I left my subject line empty. So moving on to the message itself, I started with a polite and professional greeting that says, "Hi Michael, I hope you're doing well." Now, by using the recipient's name, this shows a sense of connection, a bonding, and it also shows that you're being intentional and that you're not just sending them a random generic message. This actually prompts them to read further because they already know that this email is for them just by mentioning their name. Okay, so you go ahead and introduce yourself to them. Now, your connect may have known you, or may have known you for a short period of time, or maybe for long, but then they may or may not have known what you've been up to. So you go ahead and tell them, I recently completed an 8-week intensive virtual assistant training. Okay, now they're being aware, right? Now you've made them aware, so you have to tell them the specifics. You worked on several projects and developed strong foundational skills. Then you go ahead and tell them your purpose by saying, I'm currently looking for my first VA role, and I'd be grateful if you could connect me with one or two people who might need a VA. Now, this shows that even though your connects might not be needing your services, they can't just relax. This is you making them aware that, okay, you can as well as reach out to people in your contacts, just in case you know someone who might be needing my help or my services. So you also go ahead and offer them. This is now like a reason for them to give you that chance by saying, I'm offering a 2-week trial period. You can decide to choose 30 days, like 1 month, or depends on your duration of trial period. I'm even offering a 2-week trial period for free. If you know anyone who would benefit, I would truly appreciate the referral. Now, by offering your free trial, you're trying to tell them, not just by word, but by action, that this is the value you can bring to them. This is a way you can make their life easier. And once they see that, trust me, they can even decide to retain you, or even speak for you, even recommend you to different industries and all that. So you end up adding your details by saying, here's my email. You attach everything. You attach your email, your phone number, your portfolio link, and your resume for reference. You end up thanking them. Thank you so much. Yeah, because appreciation is very, very important. And that's it. This works because it's short and straight and to the point. It shows initiative and professionalism. And lastly, it contains all the necessary details so that they don't have to keep chasing you every time for more information, like, okay, why don't you get me your CV, let me look through it and all that. Like, everything is there all at once. And with this, people are more likely to forward your message to other people because you've already made everything easy for them. Another example is asking for a letter of recommendation. Most people send vague messages like, hey, can you write me a recommendation later, without further details, and that is an instant no. And trust me, you could easily, in fact, people are gonna ignore you. Instead, you can send something like, so this is just a sample draft that I wrote to myself, since the context is writing to someone that is very, very close to you. And instead of I used hey Choma, I'm applying for a master's program in neuroscience at Oxford University. Since I completed a 2-year internship in this field and neuroscience is my passion, I wanted to ask if you'd be willing to write a recommendation letter for me. I've attached my CV for reference, plus a draft template you can modify to rewrite in your own words. Now, this is you making things easier for the recipients. By adding a template, the recipient can easily modify one or two things and send it to one of their contacts or connects as a recommendation. Okay? So, reading ahead, I've also included a checklist of key points in case you want to highlight specific areas. So, you're not giving them additional points that they can modify in the recommendation letter while they are sending it to any correspondent. So, as usual, you conclude it with an appreciation. I really appreciate it. So you can either say thanks or I just appreciate it. Depends on whatever. So don't forget to attach your files. Don't forget to attach your files. Don't forget to go here, click on files and select the template. If you've not worked on it, make sure to work on it. And if there are any other add-ons that you need to include, endeavor to do that, then include it as an attachment before sending. Now with this, you're gonna get a yes as a response because one, you've already made it easy for them, like all the informations are there. Also, it shows that you're demonstrating competency because by doing that, you're really giving them the impression that this is what you're capable of doing. And lastly, you've reduced the efforts on their part. And these examples takes us to the key rule of networking, which is help people to help you. If your message is vague, they won't bother. But if you provide more information for them and make their job easier, they are far more likely to respond to you. And this rule is even more crucial as a virtual assistant. If you're a VA or any service provider, your entire job is to make life easier for others. Now let's put ourselves in the shoes of someone who wants to hire a virtual assistant. What is their biggest fear? What comes to mind is, will onboarding this VA take me more time than I'm supposed to do the task myself? Like, imagine after going through your resumes, taking their time to interview you, and also maybe you end up getting employed and they'll start asking you to perform this task and you're not giving them what they want. You're not making their life any easier. You see, most times it's not just all about money but time. Time is their biggest asset because once they feel like hiring you is going to save them more time than costing them more time, they're going to happily invest in you. So when you're networking, your goal is to demonstrate right from the start that you listen carefully, You're organized and detail oriented, you follow up professionally, you prioritize efficiently, and that you also make communications seamless. Because before a client hands out their calendar, their payment details, their business task, they need to feel 100% confident that onboarding you is worth it. At the core, a VA's job is removing stress and reducing workloads for others, and networking is the first impression where you can prove that. Because your value proposition as a VA is to let others know what you bring to the table. One more thing is leveraging your network for referrals. The truth is, not everyone you message are gonna respond, and that is okay. But instead, don't just wait around. You can tap into your existing network, because even if the people you know are not in need of a VA, they might actually know someone who is in need of a VA. And instead of cold emailing strangers, you can craft a personal message to people you know in your network, such as, so this is the sample I drafted for referral. I'm writing to Bora, and here I said, "Hey Bora, hope you're doing well. I wanted to let you know that I'm officially launching my career as a VA, and I prefer finding clients through referrals rather than working with random people online. If you know anyone who might need VA services, I would appreciate it if you'd keep me in mind. I'm open." Then go ahead and tell them your availability by saying, "I'm open for as few as 5 committed hours per week per client." Then tell them your rate. It's actually optional, but including it helps to set expectations so that they know that yes, if they're hiring you, they know that this is the amount to charge. So you can say something like, "I charge like $15 per hour for my services," depending on how you set your rates. Then you include your special offers by saying, "I provide discounted onboarding period and take on one-on-one tasks." So it is just like you explaining to them how you work. Okay, so with this, it just made it stronger, and looking at this, anyone that receives this can even actually make it easier for them to say something like, or maybe for them to say something like, "Oh, I have a friend who's been overwhelmed, and I would actually like to refer them to this VA," something like that. They can just speak for you, like they'll just end up connecting the both of you. And that's the power of referrals, because most times the odds of getting a yes skyrockets, especially when the recommendations comes from someone that they trust. So with this, always keep in mind while networking online, keep your messages short and clear, be humble and not always demanding, make it easy for people to help you, assume that people are busy and always respect their time, and most importantly, show your value upfront. Because when done right, networking isn't just about getting a job or a client, it's about building relationships that can open doors for years to come. So next time you're about to hit the send button to an email you're sending out, go back and proofread your work and ask yourself, will I say yes to these requests? And if not, make sure you go back and tweak it. Also, keep in mind that networking is not just about you, but about how you position yourself to add value to others. Do that right, and opportunities will come knocking. Now go out there and build your network like a pro. Also, I would love to hear from you. What is the best networking strategy that has ever worked for you? You can drop it in the comments, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you.